Okay, it's 2 o'clock and we're going to get started. Welcome everyone to the Website Builder webinar. I'm Nancy Doherty and I'm an analyst with National Rtap. So of course, we'll start with a few housekeeping slides. I'm sure you're all familiar with Zoom at this point, but if you do need a little help with your audio, there's a button on the lower left corner down in this area you can click on. And you can use your computer audio if you prefer, or you can call in using one of these numbers. But if you do use one of the numbers, you will need to enter that meeting ID that you see on the screen right here. In terms of during the webinar, please use the chat to get help using Zoom or to share comments you might have. And then later use the Q&A to submit questions to be answered during the webinar. And if you've got a question that can't wait till to the end, please feel free to raise your hand, and if appropriate, we will ask you to speak. And as always, the recordings and slides will be posted to National Rtap website shown here. So just a little introductory information about National Rural Transit Assistance Program. It's a technical assistance center funded through the FTA through Section 5311, the 5311 program. We provide free training materials and technical assistance to rural and tribal transit providers throughout the country. We also provide some amazing tech tools, including the one we're going to speak about today called Website Builder 3.0. We provide free website hosting, assuming the website, of course, is developed with Website Builder. We are governed by a review board consisting of 14 members. They include DOT members and transit managers throughout the country. They're effectively our boots on the ground so that we keep current, we stay informed, and we provide the tools that are most useful to you. You can, of course, learn more about us using our new website, which was just launched last month. The website was developed with Website Builder 3.0, and you will get a very brief tour of that website in just a few minutes, just to give you an idea of what Website Builder 3.0 is capable of. It's unlikely you'll probably have a website as extensive as ours, but you will get an idea of what we can help you with. I do want to remind everyone that this is a two-part workshop. Hopefully today you'll be encouraged to use Website Builder between now and our next workshop, which is planned for September 23rd. I would encourage you to give Website Builder a try and come back with your questions and thoughts and issues on the 23rd. The 23rd will be set up something like the college office hours. We'll be here to answer your questions and help you. And if there's not a lot of questions, we may cover a few more advanced topics. So we have two speakers today, or instructors, I should say, Justin Heavenrich. Justin is a project manager. He is the project manager for Website Builder and National Rtap, and several of National Rtap's other tools, web tools. He has 7 years of technology experience, and he works in various roles, ranging from program and design development. He's been assisting rural and transit providers with website design and technical support and technology issues since 2017. Also joining us today is Mitchell. He's the project manager. It's also a project manager and the lead customer support agent for Website Builder at DeVogel Technologies. His goal is to help transit agencies, rural and tribal, to achieve their goal of offering a really good, accessible, and easy to use website. I suspect maybe some of you have worked with him already. So before we get started, I do want to give our speakers an idea of kind of where we are and where all of you are in terms of website design. I'd like to do 2 polls. They'll be pretty quick. The first one is kind of to give us an idea of your status of your website. So if you could take a minute and answer the question, which answer best describes your website status, it would be helpful. All right, the answers are coming in. It looks like most of you, those of you that participated, do have some sort of a website, but are looking for a little help to jazz it up, as we said. And there are a few of you that don't have a website, so we're really glad that you're here, and hope we can help you. We'll give it like 2 more seconds, and then we'll end the poll. So these are the results, pretty much as I explained. 81% of you have a website, but want to jazz it up a bit. And looks like 20% of you, or 4 out of 21 that participated, do not have a website yet. And then try to get a feel of your experience with Website Builder. Results are coming in. All right. So 20% of you, the participants in the poll, want to learn more. Well, actually, and another 5 have at least have some familiarity with the tool, but want to learn a little bit more. And there's 3/4 of you that haven't started yet with Website Builder. So that's good to know. Hopefully that will be helpful to our instructors. So at this point, I think we're going to turn this over to Mitchell. Mitchell, you're still muted.
Actually, I'm gonna
Justin,
take this
excuse
part.
me, Justin. Justin will be talking a little bit about website design and Website Builder, and then Mitchell will jump in with a demonstration of Website Builder 3.0. All right, I'm going to stop sharing, and then or I'll just keep running.
Yeah, if you'll just run through the slides, and I'll take over when it's time to do some demo. Thank you so much, Nancy and National Rtap, for letting us talk about Website Builder today. We've certainly spent a lot of time over the last year or so making it the best possible website building tool that we can with transit agencies in mind. So I noticed from the poll, some of you have used it. For those, this introductory session will be sort of a refamiliarization. Those of you who are advanced, this will just be sort of stuff you already know, but if you have questions, feel free to ask those if we can elaborate. And then, like Nancy said, those office hours on the 23rd, we'd be happy to address more advanced concepts and any other concerns you might have. So take some notes, and if you have questions, feel free to ask now or during that advanced session. So what is Website Builder? So Website Builder is a cloud-based content management system that can be accessed from desktop, tablet, and mobile. So that means 2 things. One, your users, visitors to the website, can see it on any platform. It's fully responsive. And you can actually make edits from any platform you like. So you can do it from your desktop at work. If you're someone who has more time sitting on the couch at home on your iPad, great. You can build your website on your iPad. I was doing that the other day, and it's actually kind of a fun experience to manipulate it in that way. And then you can also log in from your phone to make quick changes as well. I wouldn't recommend trying to design the entire site on my phone, though. Website Builder is, I think there's a couple more there. No worries. Just hop back one.
There we go.
There we go. Great. Thank you. Website Builder is completely free, so there's no hosting charge, anything like that. It's not something you have to go out and get a server for. We get that question a lot. It's hosted entirely on our platform. The one thing you do have to provide is a domain name. So we will even give you a domain name, but it's one that's kind of a piggyback on our domain. If you want your own, then you just go to your domain registrar of choice. And the fee on that is very small. It's usually something like $12 a year. So this is very affordable. It also has transit-specific content and features. So there's a lot of fantastic website building tools out there. Some of the ones you're familiar with, Wix, Squarespace, all those come to mind. They have great drag and drop interfaces, but they're not transit specific. So you're not going to log in and find, for instance, a template for a rural transit provider. It just saves a lot of time and energy if you have a lot of that work done for you on the front end. So that's kind of one of the advantages of using Website Builder. The other advantage is we have a technical support team that's ready to help. So Mitchell or myself are available 9 to 5 every day for you to come to with questions, training. We can even help with some configuration, but we really want to empower you to be able to build your website. But if you get stuck, please let us help. That's one of the things, one of the biggest obstacle to completing a website seems to be someone gets stuck on one thing, and then we just never quite get past that hurdle. So if you're stuck, please reach out. That's what we're here for. We'd love to assist you. Next slide. Core features. So those transit-oriented templates I spoke about, I believe we're up to 6 or 7 now, maybe more. I'm not sure. They are oriented toward organizations ranging from small on-demand service to larger fixed route providers. So there's something there for everyone. There's also some templates there, I believe, for state Rtap. So if you fall into that category, feel free to spin up a website using this tool. There's some great options there as well. We have a drag and drop interface that requires no experience. So we've had Website Builder as a platform around for almost 10 years now. If you've used the original version, you probably remember, a little harder to use. This new one is basically, if you can use PowerPoint, you can build your website. So please give it a shot. Even if you're somebody who says, I don't know the first thing about creating a website, chances are between the template, the easy to use editor, and a little bit of help from us, we'll definitely get you there. So please give it a shot. We have things like built-in forms, pop-ups, tables, accessibility tools. Those are all included out of the box. So if you're familiar with platforms like WordPress, you know that each one of these things is usually another plugin that you have to install, purchase, maintain. All of that is available with Website Builder without any additional cost, purchase, anything associated with that. So a lot of advanced features there. We have thousands of free stock images, including all of the images from the National Rtap marketing toolkit. So if you say, hey, I don't really have much to put on my website, image-wise, we've got you covered there. Chances are there's a lot of generic bus pictures, people riding, things like that. It really is fantastic if you need some pictures. Search engine optimization. I can't stress enough how important this is. So what's on your website doesn't matter if no one can find it. So Website Builder is designed from the core to help you to show up on Google when somebody searches for you or for transit in your area. So we're really proud of the work that we've done in the area of search engine optimization. And I'd be happy to elaborate more on that probably in the office hours session if you're interested. Next slide, please. Okay, before we get started on the demo, I just thought I'd cover a few website best practices. So the big thing is, what do I want on my website? What do I need to have? If you're sitting down to start your website, these are probably the things you want to figure out before you even get started. And the questions that your writers are going to ask are what need to be front and center. So questions like, where can I go? How do I get from there to there? When and how often does it run? How do I make a reservation? How much does it cost? These are the things that we want to put front and center on your website instead of burying them deep on the inner pages. So keep this in mind as you're sort of planning the structure of your website. What needs to go on your homepage? Where does it need to go on your homepage? What are my writers actually looking for, and what do they not need to see unless they're really looking for it? Maybe some about information or who my employees are. Those are important things, but they may not be what the visitor is looking for on first glance. Next slide, please. So this is sort of expanding on what I just said. When someone visits your website, there's a section that we call the fold. So this is what a user sees without touching the device or scrolling at all. So what do I see as soon as I land on the website? This is where the most important content should go on your website. This is where you should try to answer those questions that we had on the last slide. And you don't want to waste this space with a bunch of extra information that may not be relevant to that user. Focus it on answering the writer's most important questions. And we'll talk a little bit about that and show some examples of that here shortly. Next slide.
Right.
Okay, it looks like we're missing I was going to run through a few example sites, Nancy. So why don't I take over the screen share and click through a couple sites, and then we'll hand over to Mitch and he can do the demonstration.
Are you able to screen share?
Yes. Okay, you should be seeing Basin Transit.
We are.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so Basin Transit is a transit provider who worked with us at the launch of Website Builder 3.0 and really took advantage of a lot of the more advanced features that we're offering. So we're really excited to show you this website. And if it looks familiar, it served as inspiration for a lot of the templates that are in Website Builder. So I'm just going to click through here. So the first thing you see is they've devoted this entire top section to COVID-19. A lot of people are this is something everybody's concerned about right now. So when we're talking about above the fold, they took this space and dominated with the COVID-19 information, which kind of pushed their main banner down. It's not the prettiest at the moment, but it gets the message across. If I need COVID-19 information, it's the first thing I see. It stands out. Scrolling on down, we've got their banner, and then they have a very easy to use navigation section here. So routes and schedules, fares and passes, service alerts, and are you closed for the holiday? These are the 4 most important questions that they felt that their writers needed to have answered right from the homepage. So let's take a look at routes and schedules. So routes and schedules pages can be done a lot of different ways. Basin Transit opted to go with our route table widget to construct theirs. There's advantages to several different methods, and I'll show you a couple of those in this demo. The advantage to the table method is it's accessibility compliant, so a screen reader can read through these. If you currently have images or PDFs of your tables, unless you've done a really great job in Adobe making those compliant, they're probably not. So somebody's probably not reading those with a screen reader. This is a great way to improve your accessibility scores right off the bat by going to our route tables. They also have an image here as well. And then they have an option to download a full print version as well. So several different options here. We're really excited to show this to you, and it looks fantastic. It's mobile responsive. It's just a really nice setup there. Moving on to fares and passes. So very clean interface here. At a glance, I can see what I'm looking for. I've got cost, where to buy. Not a whole lot of text here. It's just very clean, easy to navigate. So this is a great website to just take a look at if you want some inspiration. And like I said, the templates that we're offering include a lot of this same format. So a lot of this work is done for you out of the box when you create a site in Website Builder. And Mitch is going to show you what that process looks like here in just a few minutes. I'm going to switch over to Clallam Transit. So this is another one that's been built from the ground up on Website Builder 3.0. And what I really like about this site is it's just colors everywhere. It's the imagery is fantastic. We're not seeing walls of text. It's just a great looking site and appearance. They also have some fantastic schedule pages. They have opted to use the embedded Google Sheet option, which is another compliant option, accessibility compliant option. Great to use. The advantage to this is it is a little bit easier to keep updated. You just go into that Google Sheet, tweak it if you need to. It doesn't look quite as native, but it still looks great. And then they've also opted to have the embedded Google map that actually shows you the route, approximately how long it takes. And then you can click through to do the trip planner from there as well. So there's your trip planner widget. Really nice how they've got these set up. These all pull from GTFS. If you're not familiar with that, we have resources on our website. We'd be happy to help out with that as well. They also have the user way accessibility widget on here, which is something that we include in Website Builder. So this is just another step toward making your website more friendly to those with vision impairments. A lot of options here. We have contrast, text options, cursor options. I think there's even a screen reader built in here. So this is something that's out of the box. You won't find this on a lot of other website builder platforms. So keep that in mind. If you have any issue getting that set up on your site, we'd be happy to work with you on that as well. But it's a great tool to have at no additional cost on the website. And last but not least is the National Rtap.org website, which we went live with, what, Nancy, just a week or two ago. We're really excited. We were on our previous website platform for almost 10 years. It was just a monster of a site to get migrated over. It's much faster. Search engine optimization is much better. It's much easier to make edits. Part of the purpose in showing you this is like Nancy mentioned earlier, you're not going to outgrow this platform. We're hosting the absolutely enormous National Rtap website on here. It's blazing fast. So we're really excited about that. So this platform is one that you can grow into and settle into for years to come. So we're really excited to have that live.
Hey, Justin,
Yes.
Justin, would you want to take a moment while you're on the website and show Website Builder the support page of the landing
Yeah.
page?
So Mitchell's about to demo the setup process, but I'll
Okay.
go ahead and show you this. So if you go mouse over resources under technology tools, if you click on Website Builder, we've got a lot of material here that can help you. Mitch is going to go through the create my website process. This is also going over a lot of the features that we have. But if you click in this left menu, Website Builder Support, we have our help guide, which I'll actually show you in just a minute. Go ahead and open that tab up. We have our training videos, which we're adding more all the time. So we had an entire library of training videos for our previous platform, and we're slowly getting them created for the new platform. But there are 4 up there now that handle some common use cases, and we'll be adding more. And if there's something specific that you'd like to see there, please reach out. We'd be happy to try to get that up. We also have an entire section on website accessibility. So we'll just take a look at that. So if you have questions about, what standards am I under? How do I implement some of these things? This is a great resource. This is an area that a lot of people are confused about. It's hard to understand what applies, what doesn't apply. There are different levels of compliance. So this page does a great job of explaining that information. And if you have additional questions beyond that, we'd be happy to assist there as well. And I think we have some training videos on that. So the training videos that are here might be from the old platform, but it's kind of platform agnostic in that a lot of what's being said there can apply to the new platform as well. It's more general. So there's that. We also have this website help center. If you come to where there's just pages upon pages of documentation around how to do things in the editor. So there's an editor overview where you can come in here. It goes through what every single button does, how to publish the site, how to create new pages and pop-ups. Mitch is going to show you some of this in just a moment, but if you need a quick reference, this is a great page to go to. This is also available in the editor itself. So once you've created your site, there'll be a little help button up in the corner where you can click on Help Center, and it will take you to this website. You can get a lot of additional resources.
Thank you, Justin.
Should we open it up to questions before we start the demo, Nancy, about Website Builder generally, or?
I think it'll be good to just move into the demo at this point.
Okay. All right, Mitchell, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to let you take over.
Sounds good. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you to everyone attending. I just wanted to start off on the homepage again and navigate to the website builder page like Justin just did under resources, tech tools, and website builder. And we're just going to go through the process of creating a brand new website on the National Rtap website. So I'll obviously click on create my website. And this should take me to a page that displays around 12, 13 templates at the moment. We have anything from a blank template if you want to start from a clean slate, to stay at Rtap, to many other options, as you can see here. And some of the options that you have at your disposal once you land on this page are to preview a specific template if you like what you're seeing inside that small box. And here you should be able to see what the website looks like on a laptop, tablet, mobile device, just at a quick glance. This isn't an exact science, but it gives you a good idea of how things should be displaying on each of those devices. But if we go back to the templates, and I wanted to choose option 2, demand response services only, I could choose to start building, and you'll see a pop-up appear where you can put in some basic information, your organization, email, name, phone number if you wish. Here, I'll just put my first letter of my first name and my last name. And I will also put in an email that I just created for this demonstration. And I will put in my name as well. Not put in my phone number just because it's optional. When I submit this, it takes a moment to generate, but in a moment, I'll see a pop-up where I can go both directly to my website, and I'm also going to see some directions that will be important in order to make sure I have my account set up moving forward. So as you can see here, please check your email to finalize your credentials. And I can also click this button to go directly to my site. So I'm going to do both of those things. First, I'll go to my site, but I also have my email open in this far left tab over here. As you can see, the editor is now filling in as we speak, but I'll go visit my email and give it a refresh, as I should receive a automated email to set up my account. Once I'm here, you'll receive something from no reply at nationalrtap.inthecloud.org, and just some information here that provides you directions on how to set up your account. But if you look at this last sentence, you can set your password and login to edit your website at any time by logging into our dashboard here. So click on this link, and this is where I can set my password. And it's important to do this right off the bat, just so you have these credentials at your disposal. And once you set them, it'll ask you to log in one more time, so it recognizes the device that you're on, and hopefully it can remember you so you don't have to go through this process again. So just put in my username, which is also my email, and then the password I just created.
It's also important to note that you can bookmark this link to webbuilder.nationalrtap.org to get the sign-in page. Or there's a link from our website. If you go to the website builder page, a button that says log into my website, and that will take you to where you can log in as well. So those of you who have used website builder in the past, your website had a specific link that you logged in when you went to edit. Now it's one link that everybody goes to, and when you log in with your individual credentials, you'll see your site.
That's a great point. And to kind of show what Justin just talked about, on the website builder page, here is the button to log into my website. If you ever lost that URL for any reason, you can come back to website builder and it should be at your disposal here. But you can also bookmark the page like he suggested as well. Once we are logged in, we should be able to see the site that I just created. Under site overview, we can choose to preview it, to edit it. We also see some other options, including statistics and form responses, which aren't filled in yet because it was just created and it's not published yet. But if I chose to enter the editor, I would actually land on this page right here. So I can actually start to edit my website now. And you can see here several options for us to dive into on the left-hand side here, along with options up top here as well. So in a sense, that's basically the overview of how to go through the process of creating a brand new website. It only takes a few steps. I think that took maybe 5 minutes for us to run through. So, but if you have any questions, please reach out about that. And now we can begin to go through some more preview options if you ever did. Once you do make edits to your website, you should be able to preview those edits before you actually publish them or republish them. So in order to actually go back to those preview options that we looked at on the template page, once you're in the editor, you can go to the info and tools option up in this eye icon. And you see preview link is also an option. And we can select all devices, desktop, mobile. Sometimes you want to look at something specifically on a device. So those can be helpful, but for now, we'll just select all of them.
Hey, Mitchell, we have one quick question.
Sure.
If you start with a template, can you decide later you want to use a different one? You kind of locked in once you select your template.
That's a good question. You are not locked in. However, the process to create a new template, you would just have to reach out to us at support@nationalrtap.org for us to identify the template you were working on. And if you wanted a different template, we would generate that for you and assign it to your user that you already created. So nothing would change as far as your login credentials or anything like that. We would just need to assign a new template to you, because there is a cap on how many templates you can generate per account, which is 1. And but that's avoidable if you just reach out to us, and we'll be happy to assign a new one to you.
There's a second part to that. That's perfect. There's a second part to that question. For instance, if your agency currently has only demand response, but later on adds a fixed route service, but even within the first template, you could always edit and add pages.
Absolutely, that's exactly correct.
Another option.
Yeah, and if you drew inspiration from a different template, but obviously it might not be on the specific one that you are on, that's something that we can also help with as far as creating sections and pasting them on the website yourself, which is not something that you would have access to normally, but it's something that we can help with. And so just to back up just a little bit, the info and tools option up here provides a preview link, which you can use at any point in time during the editing process to, I actually didn't copy it, to see what your website looks like again. Now, we haven't made any adjustments so far, but this is just a great tool to use as you're making adjustments to see what your progress looks like. Also, in the preliminary stages of creating your website, once you have it spun up, we would recommend looking at the Design tab, which is in the top left corner here. Now, there's quite a few options up here, but they're extremely important to look at before you start to get too deep into the process of editing your website, but they can be adjusted at any point in time. We have first global text, which basically designates the details of every single text widget that you can use. So we have anything from a paragraph text, which is the most common. Any text widget should default to paragraph text from H1 to H6, heading 1 to heading 6. So as you can see, we can adjust the font size, the color, bold, italics, underline, and justified. So these, if you know that you're going to be working with more of a lighter background, for example, you might want to have a darker color like we have here. And you can manipulate the hex code or kind of drag and drop as you please. But if you know you're working with somewhat of a darker background, you may want to have a lighter colored text or just have a variation. So maybe H2 and H1 are completely opposite in case you wanted to alternate that at any point in time. And you have 6 options and 7 if you include the paragraph. So there are quite a few tweaks that you can make and options that you can have just at your disposal at any point in time during this process.
So just to expand on that real quick. So the purpose of this section is if you say, hey, I want to change the font of my entire website globally, I can come in here and I can do that, or change the color. You can also go in on any individual widget and change it there. But this is sort of a way to make the grand scale changes, kind of set up your brand at the very beginning, so you don't have to go back and adjust later. And you can change this at any time. So don't be scared to go in here and play around. These just are there to make your life a little bit easier.
Great point. Yeah, and along with global text, we have similar options with buttons. And like Justin just mentioned, when you place a button widget on your website, it's going to have this styling that you designate here right off the bat, but you can edit it individually, like he just said, on a case-by-case basis, depending on what the background is, what kind of styling you prefer in that particular instance. But this is just an easy way for you to designate styling that will be used in the majority of cases on your website. Now, I don't think a lot of these are necessary to kind of dive into.
Why don't you show the site layout, Mitch? That's always an interesting one.
Yeah, so as you can see, the site layout we have designated here is the top bar header. And you can see that our menu is as such. But if we wanted to have a side navigation on desktop or expandable menu on desktop, not as common on desktop, but they are options if that is what you prefer. And this is just a way for you to be able to make that adjustment right off the bat. In case you wanted a little bit more space up top, if you didn't like all the options displaying like that, that is an option. So I think if we were to make that change, it should automatically adjust here. And you can see there may need to be some work to be done at that point, but that option is available to you if you would like to do that. I'll change it back real quick. And you can actually adjust on a per device basis. So here's tablet, either side navigation, expandable, or top bar header. Once the screen size gets smaller, as you can see, it's predefined that expandable is the preferred choice or most common choice. But again, those are adjustable if you would prefer a different layout.
Could you show us how to edit based on device? So up at the top, like how we can edit the mobile view?
Yeah, absolutely. As you can see, we're on desktop right now. But if we built out our homepage, for example, and wanted to look at or edit and make sure that everything was displaying properly on a tablet and mobile device, we could toggle up here to tablet, and you can see a little snippet of text, small desktop tablet / tablet 1024 px and below. Here we can make adjustments on desktop or on tablet, excuse me. It is important to note that what you add, what you adjust, what you subtract is going to be consistent throughout the devices to a certain extent. So if I were to delete this row on tablet, it would also delete it on desktop and mobile. But if I were to add a new row and fill it in with content, for example, it will also display on all devices, but the display of that information might be a little different. So if we look at what this looks like on mobile, you can see it takes up a little bit more space, or the screen size, just because it's smaller. And you can see how everything shakes out as we scroll down here. But you can make adjustments on any device. Per our process, we usually make adjustments on desktop first and foremost, and then move to the other devices, just because it's easiest to build out the websites when you could see everything on a larger scale. You have a little bit more room to work with, and then you can make slight tweaks as the screen size gets smaller.
And keep in mind your specific clientele might be more mobile oriented, and that's where those analytics come into play. So you might be looking at that and say, hey, 80% of our visitors are on mobile. So we really, maybe our design isn't as great on mobile. So maybe we need to tweak our design to where it's a little more friendly on mobile, or maybe we're not, looking at mobile first. So that can kind of vary. It's when you're working on your website, you're usually working on a desktop computer, but just make sure you keep that in mind. And that's why we've included that mobile editing option there, so you can actually get in there and make those fine tweaks to the mobile size. So like Mitch was saying, that the row might have the same content, but you can shrink down the font if it needs to be. If that word serving is huge on mobile, taking up the whole banner, adjust the font size down. Those kind of things, just so it's a little bit better experience. So just keep that in mind. Make sure that that you're looking at all three of those views when you make edits.
Absolutely. So I do want to dive into the structure of the editor. So I'll just toggle to the About Us page, look at something a little different. And I want to run through adding content to this page, for example. And first and foremost, the editor is structured in rows and columns. So if you could visualize a G sheet or Excel sheet, you can picture these individual cells, but they're broken down by columns and rows. So as you can see, I'm hovering over a particular row here, and it's identifying itself in the top left corner. And if I toggle up to the banner, that identifier is still there. So this is going to be the first place that we visit. If I want to add a row in between the banner and this row that I'm currently on, that we offer transportation services, I can left click on this row, and I'll go to this add option, and I can choose to add a row above. I can add a row below if I wanted to do that. And I'll choose to add one above just to follow that process. But if I ever did want to adjust where it was located on the web page, I can easily toggle it up or down. Now that we have a brand new row created, you can see an empty column here. And this is only visible in the editor. So if I were to hover off of it, this is what that row is how you would see it on desktop, more or less, just a blank white space. But in the editor, we can see that there's no content there and only one column at the moment. But let's say we wanted to accomplish something similar or a similar layout to what we're seeing here with the map and the text here. We can't accomplish that with just one column, because every piece or every widget or piece of content that we put into a column is actually stacked on top of each other. In order to have things display side by side, you'll have to create a new column. So in order to do that, we'll go back to the row and choose to add a column. And as soon as we do that, we can see that there was a column created, and it should have put the new column directly to the right of the original one. And the next step I'll go through is going into the design portion of the row. It is good practice, in my opinion, to push the row to full bleed, which just basically provides more spacing. So as you can see, the columns were expanded to the full width of the desktop, and you have a little bit more breathing room for your content. Now that we have two columns, I want to begin adding my content, begin adding my text and maybe an image. So in order to do that, this is where the drag and drop editor really kicks in. So I'm going to go over to the Widgets tab up here, and I would like to first, let's just add a text widget first and foremost. So like I mentioned before, it should designate itself to paragraph first and foremost. And you can also see it's bumped up pretty close to the edge of the page, which might not be ideal, but we can center it if we prefer, once it's not as expanded. But if we wanted to center the text specifically, we would have to do alignment within the text editor. And maybe the paragraph text doesn't make the most sense here. It probably wouldn't if you were putting it near the top of the page. If we look at what this agency name is, it's H1. So the next heading, it might make sense for it to be H2. And this is something that you could adjust at any point in time, where anything from paragraph to H6, and that ties back into the design tab that we were going over earlier. And now that I have a title here, if I wanted to just add some descriptive text, I could copy an existing widget that we have already down here, or I can add a new one, just go through the same process. And like I noted before, it's just going to stack on top of each other at this point, or I could drag the paragraph text above or below that title. Next, if we can imagine that there's a title here and then descriptive text in this column, let's just say I wanted to add an image. And again, we're going to go through the same process, but choose a different widget. So under the Widgets tab, you can see the next option is an image, along with many other options. But the image widget, we can come over here and just drag and drop it in here. And as soon as we do, a pop-up will appear, and we're going to see all of the photos that we've uploaded so far, along with some of the details that come along with the image widget itself. So right now we're under the Content tab, and it's asking us, which photo do you want displaying here? So this is a miniature view of the photos that you've uploaded. I always like to expand this just to get a better understanding of what we've uploaded so far and what's at my disposal. So everything that we're seeing now, again, is what we've uploaded. But if we wanted to go to some stock photography, we can go to free images here and see quite a bit of stock photography. And we can search for anything that we'd like. If we looked at bus, for example, you can see that we have quite a few options here, along with some that we may have uploaded actually. But if we just wanted to pick an image here, I just selected it and confirm that that's what I wanted to display. And now that I have it here, you can see I'm still in the Content tab. I can choose to replace it. I can make some edits, and you can tweak that if you would like. I can link the image itself, and I can add some more details in here. Probably the most common thing that you're going to do when you actually place a photo here is just adjust the size of it. And you can drag it in the bottom right-hand corner here to change the sizing and scale of it, but you can center it, right align it, and I'm doing that by right-clicking on the widget. Actually, I'm going a little fast there, but if I right-click on it, I can choose that alignment. This is basically a little preview of the adjustments that you can make on any particular widget.
Mitch, can you show us the snap feature? So if I want to align say the header there with the center of that image, how we have the grid snapping, like what you would see in like PowerPoint. Do you know what I'm talking about? You get the purple lines. So just click on the paragraph and start where it says new paragraph and just drag it down.
Oh,
So this, nope, sorry. I want you to move it vertically. Click on the little top box there, the little square at the top. The little square, you know, if I were to want to just drag it down, like just to move it in that column, the positioning of it.
in the same column it's in?
Yeah. No, just move it though. Like just add spacings. Yeah. So here you're seeing it. So if you want to align something or center something, we have these great grids. So you can see there, if I want to align paragraph with that text below, we offer transportation services, new paragraph. So drag that to the right a little bit and it should align itself. So if you want to center it on that image, drag from the top, Mitch, to center it vertically on the image. There you go. Yeah, just drag it down. Yep, you had it there. There you go. Just drag it down. Oh, maybe you have to move the paragraph one first. This is kind of a cool feature. So if you've used Word, PowerPoint lately, it makes it very easy to align things. So just kind of wanted to point out some of the work that we've done on this. We're kind of excited about it. Just makes it really easy to get things lined up tight, and make the editor that much easier to use. Can we show some of the widgets that are available? So we showed the text and image widget, but if you just expand the widget menu there,
Sure.
Mitchell, there are dozens of these. So you've got sliders, galleries, social media stuff. So there's stuff in here, for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. There's that accessibility widget. We've got the trip planner in there, which is a great one. Some of the table widgets we've talked about. So there's a lot of great stuff in the widget category, and we're adding new widgets all the time. So there's even things like PayPal in there for some reason. You know, you take your fares through PayPal, Yelp reviews, things like that. So we're excited about this, just the volume of widgets that we've got in there. And if you do have something that you'd like that you don't see in there, feel free to reach out. You know, we're always looking for suggestions about the type of content we can add.
Justin, there's a widget for creating forms, is that right?
That's right. So it's the contact form there under popular. It's right there. Why don't you just drag that over, Mitch? Yeah, there you go.
This is handy if you're wanting people to apply for a job. They can do that right on your website using the form widget.
Yeah, so this isn't where you would want it, but the form widget's very versatile. So the header there is contact us. It could just as easily be apply now. And he's going to show you the form builder tool where there's a lot of different field types. There's even an upload file option where if you want somebody to submit a resume, they could do that. There are, yeah, go ahead and click add field. So hit the field type drop down there, Mitch, so we can see some of the different field types that are available. So radio buttons, check boxes, very easy to configure this form tool. If you click over to submission options, Mitchell, just take a quick peek at that. This is where you would go in and set up, hey, where do I want this, the who do I want to be notified when someone sends us out? So if you've got HR at your transit agency, you'd put their email in there, and then it would go straight to them. So if you want somebody, different, so if you have two forms, you have a contact form for general information that might go to your dispatch, or if you have an HR person, you might want the apply now form to go to them. So you can configure all that here. You can also set it up to send to Google Sheet if you just want the submissions to go to something like that. So there's a lot of integration options there as well. We also integrate with Mailchimp and Constant Contact. So if you do an email newsletter, you can use this native form to collect your email addresses instead of something that comes out of your tool. And you can configure that right here. If you need help getting that set up, or that's something you'd like to set up, definitely reach out to us and we'd be happy to talk with you about that.
Thank you. That's helpful. We just have a few minutes left before the webinar ends. Mitchell, I'm not sure if there was anything else you wanted to cover, or whether we could open up the webinar to questions.
I did have a few more, but just real quick before questions, I just want to point out that whenever you are ready to publish, you can do so in this top right corner. And anytime you make adjustments to your website and you want to see them live, you will have to republish. As you can see, the text up here changed from publish to republish. And I'm just going to save this. This is the temporary URL that Justin was talking about earlier. It's just going to take my site name .multiscreensite.com, and now I can see the pop-up that we have designated to appear there. But I can also see my site is live, and I can get a sense for what this looks like on as an actual website. But again, anytime you make additions, subtractions, in order to see those changes live, you will have to republish. And when you are ready, I think just one more quick important thing, when you are ready to actually make that connection between your domain and your website, you'll have to first make sure that you have a domain through a platform through like GoDaddy, Google Domains, Hostway, anything like that. And then you'll be able to change your site URL to your custom domain. So www.yourdomain, and then at that point, it will provide directions for DNS record adjustments. And this is also a process that we can help with. When you are ready to push this live, I would recommend reaching out to us because we've taken so many live, we understand the process and the records that need to be added, and just to avoid any confusion, we'll be happy to help with this process once the time comes.
Perfect. Thank you, Mitchell. So at this point, I would like to open it up to questions. I'm not seeing any just yet, but we're here for another couple minutes. Really hope that you've been encouraged to give this a try. There's something like 7 different templates you can try. Some include the kind of setup for demand response. Some are set up for fixed route, combination of both.
So Carrie has a question about site analytics.
Yes, I saw.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Nancy.
It's okay.
I wasn't sure if I know we're up against a very tight.
Right. How do users access the site analytics?
Good question. So if I go back to my editor and I want to look at, so as soon as you log into your account, you should see this screen, that your site overview, where statistics is an option, and you can open up the full range of statistics and information that you can just expose yourself to, and what's working for you, what isn't, who's visiting your website, what pages, where they're from. And again, the site doesn't have any statistics because we just created it. But you could see here several options on the left-hand side where anything from content data to what browsers they're using. If like Justin mentioned before, many users will probably be using their mobile device to visit your website, but maybe not. That's not always the case. geolocation, where in the world they're visiting from, most likely wherever you're stationed. But we have a pretty cool map that kind of it's user-friendly, shows you where they're from.
Right.
And
Mitchell, we have a couple other questions just before we end. With that form builder, David Beagle is asking, is there an ability for the user of the form to upload a file, for instance, a resume?
perfect. Yeah, so in this new field that we created, and that can be added just in this add field option, we can, instead of a text field like is displaying here, we can choose file attachment. And the file attachment is just displaying upload file here. And if I were to preview the website real quick, and I chose that upload file, I have the option to choose any file that I currently have uploaded to my computer. And that could be a PDF, which is probably most likely, but a Word doc is also acceptable. But that's definitely an option and a good question.
A quick question from Tammy. She said she was a little late. Where can she access the website builder? And that's at the National Rtap website, www.nationalrtap.org. And then there's one more. We upgraded our site last summer. Is this an upgrade version from last year? I think he's speaking about website builder. This is from David Moore. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so David, if you did it last year, I think you're on this platform. I think the last sites we moved over were in early 2019. So if you're within the last year, you should be good to go. If you're not seeing anything that looks like this, please reach out and let us know, but you're probably not live on the internet either. So I think that server is actually gone. So let us know if you're seeing, you feel like you need what your site looks like doesn't look anything like these, and you want one of the newer templates. That's something we have added. We've added newer templates and adjusted some. Feel free to reach out, and we'd be happy to try to do that to help you out and bring you up to the latest template.
So at this point, we're kind of up against the end of the webinar, and I thought you guys did a great job, and if I needed to develop a website, I think I'd be on it based on what I learned today. I really hope all of you will come back in 2 weeks and will have tried Website Builder, especially those of you that don't have a website yet. We'll be available to answer more questions then and maybe get into a little more advanced topics next week. There will be a survey that'll pop up as soon as I end the webinar, and I really hope you take it. There'll be an opportunity in the form or in the survey to ask some questions that you want discussed for next week. So I hope you'll do that. So again, Justin and Mitchell, great job. Thank you so much. And we look forward to talking to all of you in a couple of weeks, and wish you the best for the rest of the afternoon.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.